Welcome to our first Spotlight on Music series for 2013. And we're very honored to have one of our own come back. Matt Vanzini graduated here in 1987. A wonderful success story. He went on to Westminster College, and from there he went to Northwestern. And I've had the privilege of going to many of his concerts because I live in Mount Olive and attend because some of my family participate in the concerts there. And I'm always very proud of the quality of the work he does. But I have to share a story with all of you so you know. The way I met Matt, he was a wonderful musician. He and Professor Bellotti were classmates, so you can imagine what trouble they got into. But anyway, he was in the practice room, and I said, "Do you sing?" And he said, "Oh." He said, "In choir, come." Is that a true story?
So you pulled me into the room with all the windows first. I forget what it was, and you made me match pitch first. So you went through it, before you actually put me in the choir.
Right, match pitches first. And then, you know how we do our productions, and we've become much more sophisticated, okay? And Nick Schubel used to be an adjunct professor here, a wonderful musician, and he was a percussionist. But sometimes in the shows, you know, we need more than one percussionist. So I knew that Matt was a soft touch, so I said, "Matt," he said, "But I'm not a percussionist." I said, "Well, yes you are." and he played the show. So I think you're going to be amazed. I'm going to turn the program over to Matt and his wonderful group and take it from there.
Great, thanks.
Just kind of go on a county-related story here. I came here as a guitar player. I really didn't know how to read music. I didn't know how to do anything. I was self-taught. And I met Dr. Gorman, too. He found me in a practice room and saw me kind of noodling around. And anybody was here when probably not when Dr. Gorman was here. But he said, "Take piano lessons with me over the summer." And I did. And just changed to piano. And then I got into Westminster Choir College by that February. So it was kind of a quick turnaround from guitar to piano major. And so I really want to thank County College so much for giving me that changeover from being just a long-haired guitarist to what I'm doing now. And I had the opportunity to conduct at Carnegie Hall. This will be my 4th time in December, and lots of opportunities have come my way from my experience here. So it's great to be back here and to be on the other side to teaching you all. So I'm very excited about this opportunity. So the first thing, wonder, what is this seminar? Why am I here? I want to try to give you an insight to what conductors do, both from being on the podium, and for most of you, you will also be on the other side of the podium in some sort of ensemble and having an idea of what the conductor's job is from both sides. I'm also going to have you conduct, so you're all going to be conducting and doing some things out here. I'm going to have some volunteers come up and work with my choir. And my choir here is my Madrigal Singers. They meet once a week after school. They are auditioned, and we've had 4 rehearsals so far. So, but you know, we're doing great things, but we're still early in the season. So, it's kind of a disclaimer, but I'm very proud of that. Yeah. So, what are some of the jobs of a conductor that you think? And this is going to be a lot of give and take. I don't want to sit here and bore you with stuff, but I want to see what your ideas are of the guys or girl up on the podium. What's the job of a conductor? Anybody know? Yes.
They lead the ensemble and keep them on track.
They lead the ensemble, keep them on track. Absolutely. Yep. What else? Yes.
They have to know the parts of the music. They have to give the cues to the appropriate parts when it's time to come in, to signal them to come in, to stop.
Yes, you have the conductor has to know the music intimately to be able to convey what's on the printed page to their ensemble, absolutely, and be able to know when to cue people and pretty much be a traffic cop. That's kind of one of the things that a conductor needs to do is keep the ensemble together. Yes?
Keep time and know the dynamic range of the measure.
keeping time, I'm going to talk about that. Dynamics, yes, we're going to get into all that with the demonstration choir, but absolutely. What kind of conductors are there? Not like personality-wise, but like we all know those, right? We have the very egocentric, it's all about me, and the emotive kind of conductor, and then the kind of lazy conductor, but not that kind of thing. But what kind of conducting jobs are there? What are the roles? I think there's basically two kinds. You have a professional conductor that conducts professional orchestras, professional choirs, professional bands, and their job is significantly different than the other kind of conductor, which is an institutional conductor or educational conductor. What I do, what most of you do if you want to go into teaching, you will be an educational conductor, and the role of that conductor is significantly different than a professional conductor. The educational conductor is first and foremost a teacher, right? I'm up here, I'm their teacher, and my whole role is to support them. Everything I do is for them. It's not about the person on the podium. It's giving them information, teaching them information, and making them have a product. What's the end result or end goal for a professional conductor? Who do they serve? Themselves. Sometimes. Absolutely. The audience. The professional conductors, their whole job is to serve the audience. Their programming is there to serve the audience. What they get from their professional ensemble, it's not about caring about this group as I care for all of my students, but it's about making the audience happy so that they buy tickets and come back and continue to come. So two kind of conductors, and the way they approach conducting is completely different. And I'm going to talk about the educational conductor today, since that's my realm and my expertise. So first and foremost is being a teacher, facilitating, having them learn music and learning what everything's about. But also, not just the nuts and bolts of teaching, but my real goal is, if I'm successful, is for them to have an aesthetic experience. That really is the ultimate teaching thing that I can do for them. What is an aesthetic experience? Anybody know? That's why I didn't get any reaction when I said the ultimate goal is for them to have an aesthetic experience. Aesthetic experience is when you're performing, not performing, you're, in the musical case anyway, you're making music and your awareness gets so heightened that your emotion becomes so connected with the music that everything else around pretty much goes away. You are so in the moment as a group. Usually aesthetic experiences with a choir will happen as a group, not usually individually, but a group will feel it. That, I have one example of concert choir a couple years ago. We were singing a Randall Stroop piece, and it wasn't in performance, and it doesn't matter where the educational aesthetic experience happens. It can happen anytime. It was the end of a class. We were singing through it, and something happened in the middle of it. I don't know what it was. Everyone was just there, and we stopped. No one said a word, and everyone just was looking at each other like, what just happened? We weren't singing for anybody, but everybody was right there on the page, and we made music for ourselves, and everyone got it. I don't know if anybody was in the choir then, but it was an amazing experience, and I talked about it afterwards. Not right afterwards. I waited till the next class to say, what was that feeling? And we talked about achieving that. So that's another thing that if I can have them achieve an aesthetic experience, that's the best thing I could possibly do. Second thing as an educational conductor is picking repertoire. A professional conductor will pick repertoire for the audience. I need to pick repertoire that's going to, A, teach them things, B, is going to make them be successful, but also challenge them. So it's a completely different mindset from when you're picking repertoire. They don't know all about that kind of. They just think I pick pieces. But I spend a lot of time, figuring out what my choir is going to be like, and then finding out, what's going to work for them. Especially you guys, right? First rehearsal,
Yeah.
we threw all the music out the window. It just wasn't too easy, wasn't too hard. It just wasn't for them, you know, and sometimes you just got to change that. Also, educational conductor, my job also is to make musical decisions and also be able to translate those musical decisions to the ensemble. And that's where the actual conducting part comes in. So I'm going to do a couple demonstration things here. I'm going to have you talk about what you see and maybe what you hear, and that kind of thing. So you guys can stand up. And we're going to sing, not in a row, we're going to talk a little bit, but we're going to sing 3 pieces, and I'm going to be doing different conducting styles. And I want you to be watching for what my conducting styles are and what they may mean. Or, you know, hopefully you can kind of see from the back. First thing we're just going to sing is the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So who can label, or what kind of conducting was I doing? Could you see? Oh. Just tell me anything you saw. What?
Conducting prediction.
Prediction?
For diction.
For diction? I was doing a little bit, yep. You said something about your first answer. What did you say when I asked about conducting? Dynamics, and what else did you say? Keeping time. The national anthem is it's a very expressive piece that has, you know, meaningful lyrics that means a lot to us as Americans. But what I was doing there was keeping time, right? I was just doing a 3 pattern. It doesn't, national anthem, does it need a lot of emoting and, you know, just really getting into it? No. But that's very appropriate conducting style for a piece like the national anthem, is you're there to keep time, making sure that they don't rush, right? And, you know, keeping things on track. And that's very legitimate. And that's what usually people learn the very beginning, is how to keep time. And that's what you will learn later, is how to beat time. Second style I'm going to be doing is something different. So watch what you see here.
On summer sunshine kindly heave, or southern wind blows softly here. Green sod above thy light, good night, dear heart, good night, good night.
So how did that, thank you. What was the difference in styles? That, yes.
Well, this one was much more expressive. Your left hand was more, it looked like more in charge of like the expressive flow of the piece.
Mhm.
And instead of keeping strictly time, you would cue individual notes, because if you wanted to hold it longer, it was much more, I don't know the word for it.
You're exactly right.
Expressive.
Yeah, more expressive. I don't need to beat time through that piece. I learned from a conducting teacher, there's a beat, don't beat, or conduct it. When you have long notes, you don't, an expressive piece or a sustained piece, you don't need to beat time, but just give them the direction and then have them move, right? So that was very, very accurate assessment. I want to show you what that would sound like, and I told them to do whatever I do. So, you know, it's not weird. I didn't plan, you know, exactly what's going to happen, so because I wanted this to be authentic. But I'm going to have them sing that piece while I beat time, and see if you hear a difference. Right? Again, they're not going to try to do it. They're just going to solely, maybe they don't. I don't know, but they're going to see what happens. The Star Spangled Banner method of conducting.
Warm summer sun, shine kindly here. Warm southern wind blows softly. Green sod above, light. Good night, dear heart. Good night. Good night.
I decided to mix it up. Just could you hear a difference between when my gestures changed? And your ensemble will react to what your gestures are. The old saying is, what they see is what you get. That make sense? So if you hear an ensemble performing a sustained piece like that and it doesn't have that expressiveness, it's probably because the conductor's not doing their job of getting the music off the page and being able to translate it to their ensemble. So hopefully you kind of heard that difference in there. I'm going to do one other piece. You see a hamba? This will be a little different too. This is more upbeat, but well.
Kanyen kwenkos, siya meku kanyen kwenkos, siya meku kanyen kwenkos, siya meku kanyen kwenkos, siya hamba siya meku kanyen kwenkos, siya hamba siya meku kanyen kwenkos. We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, we are marching, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, we are marching, we are marching in the light of God. Siya meku kanyen kwenkos, siya meku kanyen kwenkos, siya meku kanyen kwenkos, siya meku kanyen kwenkos, siya hamba siya meku kanyen kwenkos, siya hamba siya meku kanyen kwenkos.
So who can sum up conducting style with that one? Yes.
It seemed like there was a lot more attention to dynamic, like there was a lot of crescendo that you were doing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. How was I doing that?
Could you say when you were like lifting your hand
Pull-
up, you know?
Pulling that sound? Yep. Mm-hmm. What else? Yep.
It was syncopated rhythm.
Syncopated rhythm. I give attention to the syncopated people. Yes, I made sure that they understood where that needed to be. Anything else? Yes.
I just thought it was really cool how you kind of let them feel it, like with the sopranos when they went like, I'm not even gonna try to sing it though.
Yeah, the ooh part.
I'm not feeling very high in the range right now. But you didn't even like, really connect. You kind of just like pointed, and they almost just kind of did it, and they felt the rhythm. I mean, you might have conducted it, but I couldn't see. It looked like you kind of just pointed.
Yeah, I just
Really
did
cool.
for the soprano. Ooh, I just did a little hand gesture just to make sure that they don't whack it. Just don't jump up in there. I was just giving just a gesture of okay, it's just float it up and over. You know, kind of giving them a little bit of help as I gave the altos and the tenors a little bit of help with the syncopation. Basses I just kind of let go on their own there. They were just on their own. But that was kind of also a hybrid between the two. I was doing expressive things with the dynamics and shaping it while still keeping time to make sure that they stayed together and they didn't start rushing or doing that kind of thing, although we did a little bit. But try to keep that together while also making sure that there was dynamic contrast, cueing, syncopations. So that's kind of in a nutshell, even though it's a very easy piece, combination of all of the different conducting styles into one. All right. Any questions on that so far? No. Okay, good. Now let's get down to the nuts and bolts of conducting. What is it? We talked about tempo, dynamics. What else? What's the third component of music? We have timing, tempo. We have dynamics, making things expressive with the volume changes. Yes?
Communication.
Communication, that's my job, to communicate this information. Yep, but there's something else. Pitch. During rehearsals, who said that? During rehearsals, I'll deal more with that. I think I'm talking more about the performance aspect of it. Yeah, in rehearsal, I have to deal with pitch, teaching them all that kind of stuff and making sure that they stay in tune and all those little tricks to make sure that all that happened. But during the actual performance, something else I can show. What's another element of music?
Phrasing.
Phrasing, yes. The word I'm looking for is overarching. Phrasing is kind of in that. Form. Yeah, I'm not going to conduct an ABA form or I don't know, but what? Coloring it. I think that'll. Yeah, I'll put that under this umbrella. Yeah, I'll put that there. Starts with an A.
Articulation.
Articulation. Yes. How the notes are to be sung from an articulation standpoint, whether it's legato, whether it's staccato, whether it's syncopated, all that kind of stuff is my job to conduct, transfer the music on the page to the ensemble, to that tempo, dynamics, articulation. You also noticed we talked about I was cueing different sections. Good. Now let's have some fun. I'm going to have you guys conduct in a second, but I just want to show you that an ensemble will really watch what you do. So I'm going to do something, conduct kind of a little absurd scale. So I'm just going to do whatever. They don't know what I'm going to do. But see, as an educator, I got to train the ensemble to watch and understand what my gestures mean, right? Because that's another language as I'm teaching them. So let's do that. What? Scale.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re. Do.
They made some mistakes, but but that's the job of the conductor is to whatever music is be able to translate it to to the ensemble. And even singing something simple as a scale, the ensemble should be able to react to the different gestures. Because I was doing way different gestures. So let's talk about gestures. Let's see. Should I have you do it? Now, why don't you stand up, get a little room. So in conducting, we have 3 planes that we work on. One would be this, which would be vertical. Anybody? Going from front to back? There's a fancy term for it. What? Depth, sagittal plane. Sagittal plane. We'll talk about that in a second. I want to take everyone with their right hand, and I just want you to keep everything loose. Take your hand. Some conductor teachers teach fingers together. I think you should do whatever your hand does naturally, because if you don't naturally walk around like a robot with your hand, I don't know, or doing the queen wave, but just keep your hand whatever it should be, and find a point, imaginary plane, and just. Yeah, you do it too. And like the Karate Kid movie, paint the fence. So do a little wrist up and down. Try it with both hands. That seems very simple, right? Now we're going to do the horizontal plane, and I want you to just go. And most patterns will be a combination of those two. I don't know if I'll get to the sagittal plane yet. So now do one hand, do 2 hands. Now try a switch. Or do this, whichever's easier for you to do. All right? That's not it? Okay, try to go back. Now go out, in, out, in. Good, and stop. Does anybody know what the point of invisible contact is called for conductors? Ictus, yes. And that's your imaginary line where the beat comes out of. And there's different ways you can do that in different styles of conducting, and different music will need different styles. You have one with the fingertip ictus, where your fingertip is leading and coming off the bounce, where you're going. Or if I'm conducting a pattern, can you see that I'm leading with my fingertip? And the fingertip is the bounce. And that would be a very slow, sustained one. So another one, let's actually try that. Put your fingers together, or how they may be. Try to lead and feel your fingertips. Just move your arm around, whatever you want. And feel your fingertips leading. Nothing else is moving. My fingertips are extension of my arm. And that can also be kind of simulating what a person that conducts with a baton would do. The baton is just an extension of their hand and gives it a focal point. So that would be good for real small gestures. Music's not moving so much. You just need to just beat that little bit of time. Then we have wrist. I'm leading with my wrist. 1. You see I'm leading with my wrist? That's good if you need to subdivide, giving the offbeats to people. Try that. Wrist ictus. Then we get bigger. Now you're going to lead with your elbow. So if I'm leading, that's very grandiose. You're really getting into it. And then there's the one that some conductors really enjoy, and that's your whole arm. That's we're not going to do that one right now. People will be falling all over. But those are basic conducting ictuses, and different music will require different types of conducting. And then bring it back. So you can use a combination of all of them. So those are some basic things. So let's teach you a 4 pattern. So when we conduct, there's posture is very, very important in conducting. Did anybody notice what my posture was when I was conducting? How did anybody look? It's good posture. Good posture, good alignment. So you want, especially for choirs, it's not so as much for instrumentalists, but choirs, you want to model what you want them to do. So when I conduct, I really try to keep myself grounded and centered. Like things that I conduct from are coming from here, my core. Core is very important for a lot of things, right? Core is very important for athletes. Core is very important for conduct. It's your core. That's why it's called your core. But so you should be straight with no tension. Try to keep things relaxed. And then take one hand. And when you do a 4 pattern, you guys get the
Reverse.
You reverse, yeah. So it's just 1 to the left, to the right, and back up. Down, left, right, up, down. Now pick a style to do that. Either the wrist ictus, finger ictus, elbow ictus. Let's not do the arm ictus. How many people have done this before? Conducting pattern? Yes. Experiment a little bit with playing with different styles of conducting. You can add your other hand. It goes both in. If I'm doing both hands, down, in, out, up. Down, in, out, up. Good. Now imagine this. We talked about the ictus. That's our point of contact. But I don't like to think of the ictus as where the beat is. I don't want to think about coming down on the beat. I want to think about when I'm giving the beat, it's pulling up, pulling up. Motion rather than stagnancy or things stopping. The beat, stop, 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 stop. Pull, 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 pull. Everything's motion in music. So try that by thinking that from the ictus, you're actually pulling sound up rather than squashing sound down. Does that make sense? You try that. Ready? And 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Have a seat. Do we have any volunteers that would like to conduct the choir on scales? You want to try to come up? I'll get to you guys. Yeah. I'm going to have a bunch of times here. So I've instructed them.
Now I'm terrified.
I've instructed them to do whatever they see,
Right.
from me or anybody that's up there. So they're going to really do, hopefully, whatever they see. Pick an easy scale here.
Okay. It's just do to do.
Yep. And we repeat the high. They're used to repeating the high do and then coming down.
Okay. I guess.
There's no wrong. You just experiment.
Just want to say hi for this.
Ready?
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do.
I know. That was good.
That was
was
kind of fun. And see why you do it. All right, let's mix it up this time.
Don't follow you. Go nuts.
You insist.
Ready?
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol,
want you to enhance your experience by looking at them while you do
Oh,
it.
sorry, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to make eye contact with any of them.
No, they're all harmless. Maddie, yeah, no. But communicate not just through your gestures, but for your whole being, your face, your everything needs to.
All right. What does laughing usually communicate?
Nervousness.
Good. Just want to make sure I had it accurately.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't be nervous.
Oh, I'm Jay, by the way. It's nice to meet you guys.
Hello.
Ready?
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa. Mi, re,
I'm trying to get the guys to hold and the girls to cut off.
Yeah, it's difficult getting all that. So nice job. Good job. Let's mix it up.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do.
Come on, someone wants to try. You know you want it.
Lewis, go. I messed up. I'm sorry, guys. You all see me?
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re,
Okay.
do, re, mi, fa, sol, ti, do.
Sorry, trying to get you to sustain.
Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re,
Good. I'm gonna have you stand back up again. Now we're gonna do experiment with the 3 pattern. So it's easy before. It's just down, right, up, down, right, up, down, right, up. Do 2 hands. Up, down, out, in, down, out. And experiment with one of the finger, wrist, whatever. Down, out, in, down. Good. 3, 4, because I'm going to need some volunteers to conduct something else. I'm going to have a seat. I'm going to have them sing the national anthem again, but in a very, very different way.
Oh, say, can you see
flight attendants.
O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So I wasn't really in a 3 pattern the whole time there anyway. I was just kind of just doing whatever there. And that's actually important. I'm glad I did that. The patterns that you learn, people that go on and take conducting classes, you learn patterns. The patterns are only a tool. As a conductor, you need to do whatever the music requires. Don't be stuck to a pattern. Patterns are very useful in certain situations. Marching bands, people need to see what beat they're on. Something needs to be very, very clear. They need the drum major up there keeping that time. And that, when patterns, very, very important. But when you're learning patterns, again, they're just a tool to get to the end, which is, serving the music and what's on the page there. So those that go on to learn conducting, you will learn patterns. You'll learn all sorts of patterns. And you'll learn left-hand technique and expressive techniques and all different things that go along with the gestures that it's not really my purpose here today as a group conducting class. That goes into the nitty-gritty of individualizing, personalizing a conducting thing and analyzing what people do. So with that 3 pattern, you can do a 3 pattern or whatever. Anybody would like to try to have them sing the Star Spangled Banner? You want to try it again? Come on up, and then we can do it a couple times. That's fine.
Boom. I'm so excited. Now that I know. So do I just keep the 3 pattern going the whole time?
You know what? You can do whatever you want. Just
don't say that. Alright. Out of curiosity, how do you conduct the pickup?
the pickup, that's very important, is the breath. The pickup comes in on beat 3, so you give, I usually just give 1 beat of prep.
One.
Oh, Jose.
Okay.
And prep is always in time with what the tempo is.
So like, oh, say.
So you breathe, oh, Jose.
Okay.
And make sure you breathe with them.
All right.
Got it?
I know. I'm kind of kidding. All right.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Sorry, I was going to pick up. Okay.
That's okay.
From there?
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets were glad, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Did anybody catch what he did and what the choir did? Is that last thing? You went down like that. How many of you moved your whole posture change when you did that? Right? They will do what you're showing them to do. They all had a different weird kind of reaction. So yeah, so you have to be cognizant of that kind of thing so it doesn't affect the vocal production. Yeah. Does somebody else want to try it? No brace. You want to try it? No. Oh, okay, go on.
Hi. I'm like shorter than all of you.
Oh, say, can you see
more personalized. We'll give podium time to people. I'll send this Professor Mann an email so people to kind of sign up, and I'll send some a real like easy folk tune, and have like audience like a master class with giving people like 15 minutes of podium time, so I can kind of work with them for our next.
I think the next one is November 23rd.
It's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
The Tuesday before Thanksgiving. That's what it is.
So yeah, we'll deal with that. So if people want some actual hands-on, critiquing of what to do, because I can't really do that in front of everybody in this kind of framework. But yeah. So.
Yeah. This is my first time ever doing this.
It's fantastic. Oh. Okay. You're gonna get the bug now, though.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the bug.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
This will be my first time also.
Awesome. Wait, before you do that, what's your name?
Mike.
It was your first time conducting it.
Yeah.
Tell me your experience. What?
I thought it was pretty cool. They
Power,
really
right?
followed me. And, just what I wanted to do with the piece, they followed it for the most part, so it was pretty cool to see.
It's exciting
Yeah,
to do,
it is.
isn't it? It is. It's why I'm so blessed to be able to do this. All right, this is something.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight?
a lot of power at your fingertips, and you've got literally, and you got to be very precise on what you're doing. And yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's awesome, right? Good, nice job. I'm not gonna have any more because sopranos are probably voices are probably burning out at this point, so I don't want to do that anymore. Last thing I want to do is just if you have, as ensemble members, and most of you I'm sure are, perform with a conductor. Is there any questions you have of things a conductor does in any respect, and you've always wondered why? You never wondered any? Yes.
I'll go out on a limb based on my own experience. When I was in high school in our glee club, we had an amazing conductor, and he had the job of playing the piano and conducting. And it was not a lot of fancy hand movement, but he was very precise, very methodical, and we all knew exactly where we were, when to come in. He did all the things you talked about. Went off to college, went into the glee club there, and lasted about a year because I just couldn't stand the guy's style. He had a pianist accompany us. It was all hand motion. None of us really knew when we were supposed to come in because it was more about him performing with his hands than leading a group who would respond to his lead.
Well, and some conductors, it's all about what they look like on the podium. Unfortunately, it's they map out gestures that they'll do that look flashy and that kind of stuff. And I'm sure the first guy you had was probably an excellent teacher. You knew what to expect musically, and maybe this other one just was. And it's not all about hands conducting. It's not about this. It's about this. I mean, you got to do what's appropriate to that in all respects.
And you talk about creating that moment. I was in high school a couple of years ago. But I can look back into your young people here, when they get to be my age, they're going to look back on this experience and what you led them, and it's a wonderful legacy that we're
yeah. Anything else? How did conducting start? How did they put somebody up in front? Was it always like that?
Someone started dancing.
Anybody?
Musicians ask for someone to bring you in front of them just to keep the beat.
Well, first violinist usually in an orchestra would serve as that. They would.
Bill decided he needed to make some money.
I think Mendelssohn is kind of thought of as being a person that really stood up in front of conductor. He revived a lot of Bach and was kind of known as a neoclassicist, but he really served exactly what was on the page without a lot of emoting and that kind of thing. Was very precise. And then taking it to the new level of lots of this was Wagner. He was really bringing the expressive conducting, bringing your own personal interpretation to the music. He was pretty much, and he hated Mendelssohn, and for many different reasons. But he didn't like that, just beating time, doing Bach and all that. Wagner was kind of the person that started all of that. Any other questions? No? Well, great. Well, I look forward to doing some podium time with you guys on the 20-something of November.
We'll send out a message, but
Yeah.
we want to first of all thank the choir. You were great, and absolutely wonderful. And we have so many of your students here, and they're wonderful. One of my professors said they're also wonderful. So thank you. It's to your tutelage. I really appreciate it. And saying Matt started right, and graduated in 1987. So I can say this because he was my student. I'm so proud of you, and you did a great job. Thank you so much. And thank you all for coming, and put it on your calendar, and I'll remind you and send out some memos. So thank you very, very, very much. Wonderful audience, and thank you so much.
If anybody has any individual questions, we'll be here for a little bit.
Excellent.